What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So, take a look at this. And it's like the head of the Russian private army, the Wagner Group, says that more than 20,000 of his troops have died in the Bakhmut battle. 20,000 of his troops. And the Wagner Group chief admits that the Ukraine war has completely backfired. Take a listen here. The Wagner Group leader, Prigozhin, said yesterday that the, quote, special military operation, that they're still calling it that, Russia launched against Ukraine hasn't achieved the results that the Kremlin expected. And yeah, you think? And that Ukraine now has one of the world's most powerful armies. I don't think that, but they have done a pretty decent job of holding them off. Prigozhin, whose fighters have been heavily involved in the Ukraine war, shared a 77-minute interview with pro-Moscow blogger Konstantin Dolgov, in which he launched one of the most heated attacks in Russia's military leadership since the war began. Relations between the Wagner Group and the Kremlin have become increasingly strained as the war has gone on. He repeatedly accused Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and the chief of general staff of depriving his fighters of ammunition they need for the war, even going as far as to suggest doing so amounts to treason. Prigozhin has said that Russia sought to demilitarize Ukraine, but has instead militarized it with some of the best weapons in the world. I think indicating that the rest of the world has militarized it instead, the US and the West. Kind of ironic. He says, quote, the special military operation was done for the sake of denazification and demilitarization. Thus, the denazification of Ukraine, which is what Russia thinks they're doing. Remember that Ukrainian President Zelensky is Jewish and had ancestors in the Holocaust, which we talked about. Yeah, I mean, this is their line of thinking, right? We made Ukraine a nation that is known to everyone all around the world. Ukraine has become a country that is known absolutely everywhere. Now, with regard to demilitarization, if they had 500 tanks at the beginning, now they have 5,000 tanks. If they had 20,000 people able to fight skillfully, now they have 400,000 people who know how to fight. How did we demilitarize it? It turns out the opposite is true. We militarized her hell knows how. Ukraine has received a trove of weapons and military equipment from the Western allies to assist in its fighting against Russia, including MiG-29 fighter jets, anti-aircraft system, tactical drones, rocket systems, howitzers, and artillery rounds. Ukraine now has one of the strongest armies. It's an interesting point of view. They have a high level of organization and now a high level of training, a high level of intelligence. They have various weapons, and moreover, they work on any systems, Soviet, NATO, anything, equally successful. It's an interesting thought, man. And you got to think about this. The Wagner Group has lost 20,000 men alone just from their group. Honestly, that guy seems, the head of the Wagner Group, he honestly seems pretty level-headed. The things that kind of come out of his mouth, he actually disagrees with Putin and the Russian military a lot. He's if you just listen to what he says, he's not. He really seems kind of down to earth. He just listen to the stuff that he says. He's right there with the point that Russia's actually somewhat made Ukraine stronger. Look at, I actually never thought of that point of view that he's saying right there. Who would have thought that Ukraine is stronger now than at the beginning? I surely didn't think of that. But now, when you actually think about what he's saying, he's right in a sense. Now, don't get me wrong. Both sides have lost a lot of lives, which is very sad to even think about that. And honestly, this will be something that will be remembered for probably hundreds of years, um, dozens of years. I mean, for sure. I mean, it's literally sad to think about this. And all for what? All for what? I mean, at this point, what, Putin's ego? Like what has been accomplished here? And at this point, how will it even end? You guys let me know your thoughts here in the comments. But um, Ukraine's not giving up, and at this point, Russia's not giving up either. It's really just senseless at this point. And what's interesting here is the Wagner Group is basically saying they've had enough. That they're leaving here today, and they will leave Bakhmut from May 21st to June 1st. You know, a city that they've basically fought so hard to capture. Supposedly, you know, it's disputed that Ukraine says they're still fighting over it. Now the Wagner Group's saying they're just going to leave, and it took them like 224 days. This is coming right from the mouth of the Wagner Group boss to capture this. 224 days just to capture one city in Ukraine. Lost over 20,000 of his own men. This is literally what he's saying. For what? For what? And think about, you know, who knows how many men Ukraine lost? Did they lose 20,000? Did they lose more? Did they lose less? You know, and what was accomplished here? What was accomplished? Is this literally just senseless? And think about all the money that's being lost on both sides. Yeah. You guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. And here's the problem is that this is going to continue. This is going to continue. And we've seen literally the world has just had massive inflation along with this because of this war that's going on. We have literally seen inflation spike all across the world. And Europe actually has much higher inflation than the United States. For what? For what? It's really sad, truly sad. And Russia is still to this day saying we're not going to stop unless you give us your land, Ukraine, which basically means give us your people, at least the land that they've, you know, they say they've annexed these elections that are, you know, 99% of the world when they voted in the United Nations vote. Remember, the United Nations is pretty much basically all the countries in the world. So all the countries in the world voted and said 99% of the countries said, no, these are not legal votes. You did them by gunpoint, and Russia counted them themselves, you know, without Ukraine watching or anybody else watching. So they did them by armed guard, went door to door and said, "How do you vote?" with a, you know, Russian, you know, army standing there, and then took all the votes back to Russia and counted them there. And then also, and Russia said, "Oh, we won. It's legal. Don't worry. Trust us on this." Yeah. So literally nobody in the world besides Russia and, like, you know, a few of their allies think that this vote was legal. Russia says nope, it's legal, and we're not going to leave until that all that land that we declare is ours is ours. We're not going to leave. So this is the problem here. You guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe down below. Click the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos here. It's completely free to do so. And thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. Here's the videos you should watch next. Click here to see the latest on the assassination attempt at the White House, which was pretty shocking here. And this is worse than your phone listening to you. You won't believe what your phone is going to be doing now. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.